what kind of service do you provide?
I provide a luxury service.
Jeez! What,
I'm
champagne
the
and that?
Buckingham Palace of lashes. If you see
Okay.
my studio,
Heard
it's
that?
beautiful.
Obviously, this is the Emmanuel Ajayi podcast, the show where we discuss all things branding and creative. I am your host, Emmanuel Ajayi, also known as the branding connoisseur. Make sure you grab a notepad and some snacks and kick back and relax. Obviously, this is the Emmanuel Ajayi podcast, the show where we discuss all things branding and creative. I'm your host, Emmanuel Ajayi, also known as the branding connoisseur. And today I'm joined by Sinmi. She's best known as the founder of Vera Beauty. She's recently opened a new studio and also runs a Build Your Business workshop, which covers tax, keeping clients, and money management. There's a question I like to ask Simi, and that is, what does branding mean to you?
I think branding is all about the kind of feeling you give people when they look at your brand or are familiar with it. If they hear it, they see the colors that go with it. And yeah, it's more about the kind of experience as a whole more than just your logo.
Awesome. Okay. All right, Simi, thank you for coming in on my show. You're the first guest that I've had.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, this is we're doing new things in 2020.
Yes, we rise.
So yeah, for those that don't know you and what you do, tell us about yourself.
Okay, well, my name's Sinmi. I'm 22 and I'm the founder of Vera Beauty. And Vera Beauty is your not so ordinary lash brand. We're all about making our clients feel delightful with gorgeous lashes and creating a full experience for them. And I also educate as well. So I teach other girls how to improve their beauty businesses and get better at lashes.
Like, how do you do the teaching thing? Like,
Okay.
how did you get started with that?
So I am naturally a helper. I love helping other people. I've always been interested in teaching people in some capacity. When I first trained to do lashes, I was actually looking at the trainer like, oh my God, I could so take her job and like do that easily. So it wasn't until I'd say about a year and a half into doing lashes that I trained to be an accredited teacher. So I went on a course for a week and they taught us all about how to train people, how to grade people, how to do everything to do with teaching. And then from then I just started doing a few beta groups with people just to kind of test the waters and improve my content. And then,
Okay. So I know you did like 7 short courses in business, lashes and makeup.
Yeah.
Like, how did you get the idea to even start a lash boutique, basically?
Do you know what? I didn't. Obviously, I used to do Sinmi's Boutique, if you remember before.
I was even going to get onto that as well. Yeah.
I used to do that years back, and I was celebrating the 2-year anniversary of it. And I was like, do you know what? This 3rd year, I need to do something completely different. I need to try new things. I need to kind of like reshape the business.
Okay.
And then my friend was like, oh, we should do a lash course. And I was like, meh. And she said it again, like,
so
oh,
so in Simi's boutique, you weren't doing lashes before?
No, I was selling strip lashes online. So the whole business was just me from home.
Selling lashes.
But it was really, really popular.
So wait, before you continue, what gave you the idea to even do that?
To do that?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, so I started off doing makeup many moons ago. Okay, cool. I was like I've always been like a super scrimper. Yeah. So I like to save money. So I would order like a ton of lashes from China and then I'd put those on my clients rather than going to buy individual packs of lashes because they were more expensive. And all the feedback that I was getting from my makeup clients was like, oh, the lashes are great, the lashes.
From the ones you were buying from the shop?
Yeah, no, from China. I'd order them from like AliExpress. Okay. And then I was like, oh, okay, well, everyone likes these lashes, so I might as well just sell them, And then I done that. That's how Sinmi's Boutique got started.
Okay, makes sense. So how long were you doing the makeup thing before you transitioned into lashes?
Not long, because all of my feedback was saying the same thing. I probably started it in summer because I was really into doing makeup on myself. I started doing clients in summer, and then by September I was like, I'm gonna sell the lashes.
Okay. So you see with lashes, one thing I've always noticed is the glue you guys use. How do you make sure aren't you scared it will just fall in someone's eye?
Do you know what? Professional use adhesive.
You're basically a surgeon. You need to be precise.
It is quite, it's quite detailed. I think it's all about taking your art seriously and taking your customer care very seriously as well. I'm always quite conscious of what I do, and all my clients will call me like a perfectionist or like OCD or whatever.
I think you have to be.
Yeah, you do. So,
so
it's
in the worst case scenario, that does happen. What, like, do you have public liability? Like,
oh yeah. Everyone needs public liability insurance. Everyone needs public liability insurance.
Man. Imagine being blind from
eyelash extensions.
Eyelash person. Oh, man,
yeah, no, it's important. I think that's one of the things I even stress at the beginning of the Build Your Business workshop. If you're working on the public, please get insurance. It's not expensive and it covers you, because I have heard of some cases where girls are getting sued and being taken to court and losing their businesses because they didn't have adequate insurance.
Yeah, okay. That's peak. Well, you heard it first. Make sure you get public liability insurance.
Yes.
So you are formerly known as Sinmi's Boutique.
Yes.
Why did now the name change to Vera Beauty?
So Sinmi's Boutique, the name, was actually birthed way before I'd got into business. It was my brand name. Not brand name, my blog name.
Oh.
So I had a blog and I would review like MUA £1 lipsticks and just loads of random stuff, £1 eBay lashes and stuff like that. And it was called Sinmi's Boutique. And I literally remember being in school and writing down the name options for my blog and having all the girls in my health and social care class like vote, and everyone voted for Sinmi's Boutique. So it just stuck.
Okay, cool.
But obviously, as I kind of evolved, when I actually started doing eyelash extensions, or before I started doing eyelash extension, I realized the struggles with having a name that was very long, and two, a name that was very difficult to spell.
Marketable reasons?
Yes, because my name is Sinmi, and I spelled boutique, BeautiQue, boutique. So the first four letters of beauty and then teak on the end. So it's a tongue twister. And even when I would Google myself, the search results underneath would be like SIMBOUTIQUE. If that makes sense, there would be Sinmi's Boutique instead of boutique, and my name spelled incorrectly. So that was always a struggle. So when I started doing eyelash extensions, I was like, do you know what, this is the time to change, because I'm actually in a different business now. And we said goodbye to Sinmi's Boutique.
Okay, was that an easy decision, or were you pondering on different names?
Oh, it wasn't an easy decision to pick a new name, but it was very easy to let go of Sinmi's Boutique. Yeah.
So like, why Vera? What does Vera mean?
So Vera means faith in Slovenian. Ooh, yes. Damn. And Croatian as well. Okay. So it basically was my word of the year in 2018. And as I was kind of trying to figure out new names, I tried so many names, so many different iterations of the same thing. And Vera just made the most sense. It was 4 letters. Everyone knows how to spell it. If you don't, it's kind of concerning. It's searchable. It's easy. Do you know what I mean? And the domain was available. So
it makes a lot of sense. So Vera Beauty was available. And you just...
Do you know, VeraBeauty.com on GoDaddy was actually priced at £2,000 because they said it was such a good name.
Yeah.
And I didn't buy it because I didn't have the money at the time.
What did you get instead?
I bought every other one.
Ah.
Yeah.
So .co.uk?
.co.uk, .net, .info, everything.
So what's the reasoning behind getting all the other domains?
Because I know that because VeraBeauty.com was valued so highly and they said it's a good name because of all the reasons I just listed. I was like, no, I need to kind of have every other.
So what position would you be in terms of your name if you were only able to get one domain?
I don't think it matters that much. Okay. I think the .com is very important, and I'm still kind of peeved to this day that I didn't manage to snag it.
So do you think it's more important than .co.uk?
Definitely.
Really?
Yeah.
Why? Why'd you say that?
Just because people's natural instinct is to type in .com. And especially if you're trying to reach a global market and they don't know if you're from the UK, they're not a national, then their instinct is to type in .com.
Yeah. To be fair, I don't really have... I don't have all the domains in my name.
No, you don't have to own all of them. I had to be a bit extra because I couldn't get the .com.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Yeah, I need to even
Yeah, someone's bought the .com now.
But
to be honest,
fair, if I saw someone with Ajayi 360, I'm like,
yeah, even that's
you're
a very
playing yourself.
unique name.
It's a unique name. So
an English name, an English
Yeah.
brand. You have to be quick because you're not the only person who's thinking of that.
that
You
name,
know.
Yeah, fair enough. Yeah. So I know on Instagram you're kind of like, how do I put this? You're an advocate for being a boss babe or a she boss. Could you explain to me what that is? What is that?
Do you know what? I would say I'm an anti she boss.
You're an anti she boss.
Yeah.
Why do you
I
say
think
that?
it's kind of deceptive. I'm a boss in my own right, but I feel like everyone is. And my definition of a boss is someone who takes control of their own lives and doesn't make excuses, doesn't hold themselves back, holds themselves accountable, and is willing to grow. So that's pretty much everyone. Whether you're working in a job, you have a business.
Yeah.
I feel like the dream that's sold of be your own boss is fake because people don't know what really goes into it and what it really takes to be a boss babe.
So like, is this a new mentality or have you always had this like rhetoric?
It's a new mentality, I think, because I bought into the whole girl boss babe thing at first. And that's the whole reason why I started doing lash extensions, because at first, when I first heard about it, the training program went on. She's like, so you'll be earning 26,000 in your first year, 38,000 in your next year, 52,000 in the third year. And I was like, fantastic, sign me up. Reality, it's different. I lost the word. I don't even know what to call it. It's just different. So I don't believe in selling people on the whole be your own boss, be a boss babe. It's kind of like take this course, put in the work, and maybe you're going to be successful.
Successful. Okay, fair enough. Well, you heard it, ladies. There's no such thing as a boss babe or a she boss.
No, we're all bosses. We're all bosses.
Okay, all bosses.
Yeah.
Yeah. If that works, makes you sleep at night. But, yeah. So like, on that note, I wanted to ask. So, when it comes to like, I'm just gonna be raw. I'll keep it with black people in it. With black men, we're not as outspoken when it comes to like brotherhood as like when it comes to compared to black women, like sisterhood is like a thing.
Yeah.
So like, do you think is that because, or should I say, do you think being an entrepreneur as a black woman is harder than being a black man?
I think.
Is that why women feel the need to like be? Because I feel like you lot like kind of like collaborate and like push each other more, which is we should do, but it's more of a like. It seems like whenever black women, I've seen that when you lot start something new or you're doing your hustle, or whatever, you seem to have the need to like just be
support each other.
Yeah.
No, I get you. I think
excessively.
Yeah.
Which is good. I'm not saying it's not bad, but yeah. What do you think?
I think, not to make excuses for people, but I think what we fail to recognize in the UK and even across the whole world is that being black automatically puts you as a disadvantage because you're automatically a minority. There are more white people statistically in our population than there are black people. So of course it makes it difficult. It makes it different because you are different. But I feel like everyone kind of has their own challenges. Everyone has difficulties when starting a business. Some white, Asian, whatever women will find it difficult. Some white, Asian, whatever men will find it difficult to start businesses. But I think the thing that makes black people in general special is the like I said, the sense of community. And I think we need more black people in general supporting each other and uplifting each other, and not just being a black owned business, but being an actual professional business that serves a market need and does it properly and does it well. And
fair enough. Okay, so on that point as well, like I know I would think you are an advocate for feminism and women empowerment as well, because you teach other women as well. So like, how do you feel women should be empowered, especially black women? How do you maintain your femininity while being empowered? Like, because I know it's hard for you as well.
I have no idea.
So how do you stay empowered? Like, how do you and keep your like, feminine? Because I know the world tries to paint a picture that black women are like just they try to paint you like men basically. So you guys are treated different. So I know like there's a intersectionality in terms of feminism. There's feminism and then there's black feminism. So how do you? Yeah, that's.
To be honest, I'm not like a super feminist. To be honest,
cool.
I don't really know much about the whole movement. I don't really pay too much attention to it. But in terms of my own kind of femininity, I guess I think what makes me feel more feminine or more like empowered myself is when I just feel beautiful when I get up, have a shower, like do my whole like morning routine, eat breakfast, get dressed nicely to go to work, and kind of just encourage myself. Like I listen to a visualization script every day, and that's just like filled with like affirmations, like you're strong, you've got this, you can like take today to be the best day ever, kind of things like that. And then I just kind of go out into the world.
Just motivated.
Yeah, I don't ever really see me being black as kind of like, I don't think it's hindered me, so to say, if that makes sense. I feel like if you're driven, if you're about what you say you're about, and you're going to be successful regardless of what color you are. And I think it can be a bit of a cop-out sometimes when people are like, oh, like, I'm black, so this is why they don't like me. There's so many other factors why they probably don't like you, or why your business isn't successful. It's not just simply down to skin color. Although I do recognize that it is a barrier because, like I said, we're automatically the minority.
Yeah, okay. That's fair enough. I mean, well, yeah, I guess that's a thing. We just got to power through it, I guess.
Definitely.
It is what it is.
Definitely.
Because I know I find it hard sometimes. I mean, when I was doing photography, for example, and I wanted to really break into that whole industry, like this was when I was more consistent with shooting. Like I would submit my portfolio to these like higher like organizations, and they just wouldn't accept my work, even though it was good. But I wouldn't get a reason why it wasn't good. Well, why they didn't like it. They just said no. And then I'd look at the pictures they were accepting, and it's like, oh, okay, cool. They're white. So I mean, and I just automatically thought, okay, I can really see what's happening here. But I don't know, maybe I just wasn't good enough. Maybe I was,
the thing
is
that I feel like everyone deals with like rejection and stuff differently. I don't really believe in like failing. I believe in you learning. Like I have like a saying that's like, you're not a failure, you're a trier. And that's just how it is. You tried, you submitted something, you wasn't successful, you learned a lesson, and you can move on. And sometimes you kind of have to embrace that whole like fuck it attitude, if that makes sense. Like if something doesn't work, fuck it. You know, sometimes it's God's way of taking you and protecting you from things that were not meant for you, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it's true. I feel like every L is a lesson in life. I feel like if you change your mindset to see like what can I learn from the situation instead of why is this happening to me?
Why me? Like it's a pity party, and even like
there's no time for
that. And you get into the whole comparison. Like it's just toxic. Like when you look at your work, you're like, I'm better than them. I worked harder than them. I've done so much more than them. It's kind of like fuck it, let it be. And as well as that, like in terms of like comparing, it's kind of like when people say, oh, you can't compare your chapter 1 to someone else's chapter 10. You don't know what the other person who submitted these things, what they wrote in the application, what other supporting evidence they have. Do you know what I mean? Like, you don't know. Maybe they've been doing this 10 years longer than you. Maybe they have some kind of competitive advantage that you don't know about. But you're like, oh, they got it. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's just about perspective.
It's real rap, man. It's definitely true. You've got an interesting relationship with education, as you said earlier, as we were speaking, and learning. You've hosted a masterclass with like dqAHT UK, I saw. And you've also released your own branding guide as well. Like, why do you think it's important to like share the knowledge you've acquired? And
I think it's important because I wish I had someone to share these things with me when I first got started, if that makes sense. And I feel like to know things is great. To act on things is like even better, but to share things is like amazing. If you can share what you know and articulate yourself in a way that actually helps people to get their desired result, it just has a better feeling, if that makes sense. Because I can know everything. I've done everything I teach. I don't do anything.
Feel like you're giving away your secrets?
I don't think so.
What if someone you teach just steals all your clients?
To be honest, I'm never worried about that, because I feel like they can't. No one can do anything I can do better than me. If that makes sense.
Yeah.
That's the energy you need to adopt, because I have students that I teach that live in the same postcode, the same area, the same everything.
Okay.
I still have a business. You know, it doesn't take anything away from me, and there's enough success out there for everyone. Like, if you just look at the UK's population in terms of like women, if there are 100 eyelash techs, artists, there are 1 million women. You know,
enough,
so we're not all gonna have the same clients. We're not all gonna have the same people coming and knocking at our doors and making inquiries. And the service that I provide is going to be different from the person down the road. If that makes sense.
And what kind of service do you provide?
I provide a luxury service.
Jeez.
I'm the Buckingham Palace of lashes. Okay. If you see my studio, it's beautiful.
That's the marketability in there. Buckingham Palace of lashes.
It is. That's what one of my clients actually said to me.
Swear.
She said, "This is the Buckingham Palace of lashes." Yeah, exactly.
It didn't happen. No, I'm joking.
So it's kind of like I'm more focused again on like the whole experience.
Yeah.
I don't just do lashes. Yeah. I empower these women. I uplift them. I make them feel gorgeous. I do it in a beautiful, comfortable space that feels good, smells good, looks good.
So you are empowering them. Like,
yes, very much so. And they come in one way. They can relax. I have a super comfortable space. Cool. Tea, coffee, juice, whatever they want. No alcohol.
I might have to come myself.
Yeah.
Just quick, you know. I'm told I got good lashes myself. But, I don't know.
But, no, you should come down. It's literally, for me, it's all about the experience. And I don't kind of let my clients kind of settle for less. Does that make sense? I don't just, even though I can obviously do better with like aftercare.
Okay.
I do follow up with all my clients. Yeah. I'd say 80% of my clients I follow up with, drop them a text. How's it going?
That's one thing I need to improve on as well. I don't really follow up as much as I should. So that's a good tip actually. It is.
The after sale is as important as the pre-sale, because when it's pre-sale, you're excited to have them, excited to get the money, and then when they give you the money, you're like, oh, okay, it's done.
It's done. Yeah.
You know, you need to keep your clients. You need to keep them in the net. Yeah, exactly. Because once you get them down all the stages of the funnel. Or you're just gonna let them slip out at the bottom. You know, you have to keep them in and keep them nurtured.
Recycle them. Yeah. No, it makes sense. So like, man, you heard it. If you got a girl, make sure you book Vera Beauty for the lashes and that. The Buckingham Palace of lashes. I wanted to ask. You once posted that hustle and burnout is a fine line. So I wanted to ask, like, how do you balance your work and personal life?
Okay. I think now I have a better balance on it than ever before. I feel like sometimes nowadays I feel like I'm resting too much. Yeah. And then I'm like, nah, this is good. This is the equal balance. Because before I was like hustle. And this is why now I'm more anti boss babe and MLM kind of lifestyle, because it's unrealistic. If someone says, if someone says like hustle 24/7, wake up at 5:30 in the morning, sleep at 2 a.m, skip all your meals, do all this, it's kind of like the things we need to consider, the things I consider now. One, my physical state, my health, physically, mentally. If I'm tired as hell, I'm not my best self. You know, if mentally I'm burnt out, I'm weak, I don't produce.
Would you reschedule if you were burnt out? Like you woke up and you're like, today's not the day, man.
I don't normally reschedule clients that often or cancel clients. Yeah. But what I do tend to do is every single day I give myself a 1 hour break at work, which a lot of lash artists, makeup artists don't do still to this day. It's kind of like if I had a job and they made me work 12 hours in a row, I'd go crazy. I'd never work that. Do you know what I mean? And you wouldn't. If you was at a job that were paying you £10 an hour and they want you to work from 9 a.m. to 7, no break.
I'm good.
Exactly. Treat yourself, you know? I take a 1 hour break and I watch TV. I sit in my office with my feet up, normally nosy neighbour out the window. Yeah, literally. And I just relax in that time when I'm finished with work, I tidy the place up.
Yeah. Okay.
I go home and I don't really do much, if that makes sense, because I know that when I come back to work the next day, I have a whole list of stuff to do.
Okay.
So the work-life balance, I think it's all about being organized. I have another post on it. So it's like 4 things that your work week needs to consist of.
Yeah.
So on the business, which is like, for me, my admin, replying to all my emails and stuff like that. In the business, so doing clients, taking pictures, recording, whatever it is that's in the business for your specific business. Rest, obviously taking days off. I say at least 1 day off a week, if not 2, because if you work full-time on your business, then full-time people get 2 days off a week, you know? And development. Development to me is like education. It's spending time listening to books, reading books if you like actually reading. I try to do that at least every single day.
Every day?
Yeah, like I listen to a lot of podcasts, a lot of audio books. I read, not as much as I should, but I have started reading again. I'll read through all my old notebooks and things like that, and really spend some time developing myself and obviously resting in the business. Practically all the time. I say I'm probably like 70% in the business, 30% on the business. On the business includes your content, your marketing, anything that you do that doesn't generate income directly, if that makes sense.
Yeah, okay, that makes sense. So like, for example, Valentine's Day, were you more concerned about that in your personal life or business?
To be honest, Valentine's Day kind of went a bit over my head.
Really? Okay.
And I feel like if it was a day off, then it would be a day off. Because it's not a day off. Yeah. It's not a day off, so I'm still kind of working.
Business thing.
Yeah, exactly. Okay. I worked all day. My clients had a great Valentine's Day.
Did you have like a Valentine's Day sale?
No.
Or just...
No.
Right.
I have like a different kind of philosophy when it comes to discounting and sales. I don't feel like
what's philosophy?
I feel like you can't be... without sounding rude, I don't see myself as like a sell kind of person. Like, I don't want to be doing constant discounts. She basically
said all of you that do sales are ghetto.
You're not, but it kind of devalues the service and what you give. Because if your clients know that every other week you're doing a 20% off deal, why would they come to you at full price?
So why would they come to you at full price?
Yeah.
Because...
They wouldn't.
Yeah, they wouldn't. Really.
They wouldn't. If they know that you're going to be doing a discount next weekend, or if they wait an extra day, they're going to get you for 30% off. Why would they ever pay full price?
Oh, but that's if you're doing like sales on a regular though.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But that's why you have to be strategic with your sales.
Oh, okay.
You can't do it every...
So what's a strategy?
It's an Easter sale. It's a Valentine's Day sale. It's a weekend sale. It's a this sale. It's a that sale. If you're doing sales like that, it's kind of detrimental to your business.
Really?
Yeah.
So if you're only doing like holiday seasonal sales.
Yeah. So I used to work in Next.
Yeah.
For years. Next do 4 sales a year, and they turn over billions every single year. Customers come in every single day and pay full price with no complaints, and they know in every quarter there will be a sale, and it's a really bloody good sale. It's half price or less. In those 2 weeks when that sale is on, you can buy stuff for cheaper. Every other week of the year, everything is full price. Everything. Down to the bags of sweets by the till. Everything is full price. They still turn over, like I said, billions a year with that model.
Mad.
4 sales per year.
So is that per season?
Yeah, one every season. They do a really big one at the end of the season, and then they do a mid-season sale.
Okay. All right.
So if Next does 4 sales a year, you really need to look at that, and look at how the success is created for them.
Okay. Another thing in terms of like marketing, word of mouth is like considered the most effective marketing. So, and that comes from like delivering a great customer service. Like you've explained that you're the Buckingham Palace of lashes. So like, how do you ensure you get awesome reviews from clients?
I had this question the other day, and I said it's a combination of me being good at what I do, having amazing clients. All of my clients, honestly, there's not one person on my books that I would look at and be like, ugh, don't want to see them. Like, I managed to attract really nice women as my clients.
Jeez.
And asking.
Okay.
I know girls who've been doing like stuff for years and years and years, and they don't even have 200, 300, 400 reviews, when you can literally ask your clients, hey, can you go leave me a review? Most of the time, they don't even want anything. Forced, not at all.
Really?
If I read you some of the reviews my clients leave me, people must think I have like a gun to their head, like, write this review now kind of thing, like making sure it's good. They do it because they love what I do. And they're amazing themselves.
So what advice would you give? Because the reason why I ask this is when it comes to, and I'm not trying to be stereotypical here, but it's what I've just seen and assessed from the scene. So like a lot of makeup and some makeup, but hairstylists.
I knew you was gonna say that.
Their customer service, well, not service, but their reviews are terrible. So like, how would you go about that differently? Like, what do you think they're doing wrong?
I don't think they're giving their customers a good service.
God,
that's literally it. Like, and I've seen some of the text messages that these people send to their clients. It's kind of like, why would you ever speak to anyone like that?
Oh, wow.
And you know, have you ever heard the saying, it's like, it's hard to be rude to someone who's being nice to you?
It's hard to be, no, I've never heard that, but yeah, kill them with kindness, I guess.
No, it's the opposite. So if I'm really lovely, you're not going to be mean to me. If I'm really rude, you'll find it a lot easier to give it straight back to me.
100.
Do you get what I mean?
Definitely.
So when you're really polite to your customers and you go out of your way to delight them, be polite, make sure they're happy. You're just
level-headed. You just feel stupid being all hyped.
Exactly. Because if you come to someone, you're like, I'm not happy with this, I'm not, and they're like, oh, I'm so sorry to hear that. Maybe I can do this. Their tone. And then they'll even apologize to you for being rude, you know? But a lot of these girls, they're kind of lacking in the customer service.
Fire.
Exactly. So if someone gives it to them, they're giving it straight back. When you don't do that, it's literally like, I always have to kind of remind people to imagine you're working for a company. Imagine it's not even your business. Because at the end of the day, although you're self-employed, I work for Vera Beauty. I'm not Vera Beauty, you know? So Vera is a completely different entity to me. The business, everything I do has to be in the interest of the business, not my personal interest.
Interesting.
Does that make sense?
Now, guys, I work for Ajayi 360.
You do, you know, because when you register a limited company, it's a separate entity. It has its own address, its own number, a date of birth, its own credit, like history. It's a completely different entity to you. And when you're literally working with people, you have to know how to speak to people. You have to know how to look after them. You have to know how to do the aftercare, check if they're happy, make sure that they leave you solid. So then they don't even, most of the times I don't even like have to nudge my clients for reviews. As soon as they leave, they're like, oh my God, these are the best lashes I've ever had in my life. And I don't have to beg them for it, because I do all of that background work before, if that makes sense.
Awesome. That's fantastic. So essentially they would need to just be nice. So all of them are just rude, really.
Basically, just be a bit nicer. Like when someone inquires with you for a first message, the one thing, and I understand DMs are annoying, I reply to all my DMs. I get a lot of DMs. I reply to everyone.
You get a lot of time waster ones.
Sometimes, but the thing is that when people are like, oh, no DMs, I think unless you're getting hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of messages each and every day, then you should reply to everyone. Because the amount of clients that have come to me, and that are loyal clients who have messaged me and be like, hey, I had an experience at another salon and I wanted to come to you, I'm not sure, and they ask a question. Simply by me responding to that question, being genuine, being like, hey, how are you? Hope you're all good. Thanks for getting in touch. This is the answer to the question. If you have any more questions, just shoot me a message. And then they're like, oh, okay, I've just booked online and I'm going to come in and see you for a consultation.
Jeez.
I speak to them for 15 minutes for free in person. They get to see the studio. They get to experience it. And then most of these people, I'd say like 9 out of 10 people who DM me questions like that become clients, and they become regular clients. Simply just by me responding and being polite and not replying like, hey, I don't answer DMs. If you want to speak to me, then please PayPal me £20.
Oh God.
Do you get what I mean?
Shame on you guys.
It's not shame on them. It's time to learn for them, if that makes sense.
No, but that's good though. Like, you're really welcoming your potential clients and giving them like a sense of, because that's a part of the customer experience, and that is also part of branding.
Exactly.
Like the customer experience, you know what I mean? And that's what some people are missing out on. And I noticed you said you usually say thanks for getting in touch.
Always.
Yeah,
Thanks
I usually
for
say
your
thanks for
message.
contacting me as well.
Yeah.
So I feel like it's very important to thank them.
Yeah.
For contacting you, because they didn't have to.
Exactly.
They could have gone to someone else.
Exactly.
So, yeah.
Exactly.
That's awesome.
The little things, well. And that's just being nice, you know, and appreciating the people who actually want your time. Because when girls message other lash artists like, "Hey, I really need an appointment this weekend. Is there any way that I can be like squeezed in?" And then the artist replies, "No, I'm fully booked. Please check my website for more info." That person is just giving you so much love and trust, and they want to be a client of yours, and you've responded with
such a bland and cold statement. Yeah.
Instead of, "Oh, I'm so like, thank you for getting in touch. Unfortunately, I'm fully booked this weekend, but I can drop you a text if I have any cancellations." And 9 times out of 10, that person will be like, "Oh my God, thank you so much for responding."
At least what I noticed is with what you just said is the consideration that you're gonna try at least is what is nice about it. It's like, she tried.
Exactly.
Because at the end of the day, you don't have to do anything for
exactly.
it.
9 times out of 10, you don't end up doing anything. But the fact that that person thinks that you are doing something and you've considered them, it does. So then when they're next wanting to do your lashes, they're like, "Hey, I couldn't get in with you last time. Is it possible for me to get in?" Or you could literally hit them back up and be like, "Hey, if you don't mind paying an extra £20, I'm willing to stay open later."
Yeah, and I think that sows a seed as well, because like, I contacted her and she replied like that, and she's fully booked. Now she's gonna want to get an appointment in advance.
Exactly.
So she positions your business in a higher like point than compared to other brands.
We're high vibrations only. Low ones.
But I wanted to ask, what is the difference between classic and volume lashes? Yes.
So this is like one of literally the hardest questions to answer, because I normally in the studio have like visuals to go with it. So classics are individual lashes.
Just one.
So if I have one extension. So if I get one of your extension, one of your natural lashes, I apply one extension directly on top.
Wow.
That's classic. Like,
do you use a microscope?
No.
How do you do that?
I obviously have glasses.
Oh my God.
It's very like detailed work. But yeah, normally the person's got their eyes closed. They have an iPad underneath their eyes, so it's quite easy to see. And I use 2 pairs of tweezers, so one in each hand, one to separate each individual lash, and then one to apply another one.
Damn.
But volume, if you imagine this one classic extension split into 3.
Split, so it's cut into 3 or what?
Yeah, so the classic diameters are thicker because I'm only applying one.
Right.
The volume, because I'm applying more, they're finer in diameter. So like I said, it's kind of not the exact, you don't exactly chop it in half. But if like the classic diameter is 0.15, the volume is 0.05, 0.06, 0.07. They're a lot finer. So then that's why you apply more. And then
how much more do you apply when it's a volume?
It depends on what diameter you're using.
Is volume more expensive then because it's fine? Oh, okay.
It takes a lot longer as well.
So what's the benefit?
So volume lashes look fuller, much more fuller because you're applying more lashes.
The classic one is the diameter is
thicker.
so
But you're only applying one onto each natural lash. So if the person has a very sparse lash line, and I'm only applying one on each, it's not going to give them... If you have
bad lashes, it's not going to do much for you.
But if I was to do a volume set on someone with very sparse lashes, I can make it look fuller because I'm applying
if I've got good lashes, I can get away with classic.
Yes. Classics are really good if you have...
Shout out to the
really
classic
good
babes.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Cool. Can you tell me something that I wouldn't know? Anything else?
About...
Just teach me about lashes quickly. Just anything.
Something you wouldn't know.
That I don't have to Google later.
I don't know. Something you wouldn't know.
I probably don't know anything, so you can just say anything.
Well, some people have up to 200 eyelashes per eye. 200
what? The bottom ones as well?
No, top.
Top ones?
Yeah.
How many in the bottom one?
I'm not too sure.
So you don't do the bottom ones?
Not me personally, but other people do.
Interesting.
I can't think of the top of my
Well,
head.
that's a
There's
fact
so
for
much.
you guys. Very irrelevant, but it's a fact nonetheless. But so like in terms of all your achievements that you've done, what are you most proud of? Because you've achieved quite a lot actually for your age.
I would say I'm most proud of staying consistent. Like
In what sense?
Because I've been doing this a long time, you know.
How long again?
So I've been running businesses since I was 17.
Damn.
So
Teen. Keyword.
Yeah, and I'm still very young. So I think staying at it is what I'm most proud of because.
Yeah. And how old are you now?
22.
It's 22. So that's 5 years.
Yeah, 5 years.
I had to calculate that in my head, you know.
Yeah.
So, wait,
No, I think staying at it is the most.
That's half a decade.
Yeah.
Congrats, man. Well done.
Thank you.
That's good.
Yeah, no, it's difficult because like I can say, oh, like moving to the studio is a massive accomplishment, but then also staying in the last studio was a massive accomplishment for me as well. I could say starting doing lashes was a massive accomplishment, but selling lashes was a massive accomplishment as well. Like, so I think just the fact that I've stayed at it
is your most proud of. Okay, that's cool. Like, okay. Another thing I wanted to ask is, I know this is gonna sound mad, but have you ever had your heart broken before?
Have I had my heart broken? I have.
Oh, you have?
Yeah.
Okay, the reason why I say this is because what I've noticed is when women get out of relationships, or they're heartbroken, they usually throw themselves into their work or studying, so they really excel, because they want to have that glow. You know what I mean? So do you think that's been a factor that's helped your success?
Do you know what? I don't think so. I think when I often date people or in a relationship with people, I think my work is always something that is a pain point. Because they're always you're so focused on work, you're so busy, you do so much, you don't, I remember I'm really crappy at replying because I have tweezers in this hand, tweezers in that hand. Yeah, I do, and I have a lot of stuff happening. But heartbreak for me, it can send me down a little bit, but at the same time, I've always got stuff to do. So just get on with it. Yeah, you gotta get I wish I could be like, oh yeah, this guy broke my heart and I went and done this afterwards. I was just
curious, but so this podcast is about branding and creatives. Obviously, I'm trying to be the branding connoisseur and that. Yeah, make sure you book me for consultations. But I wanted to ask you specifically how branding is basically about being unique in the marketplace. So I wanted to know, how has Vera Beauty stood out in its marketplace and navigated through that kind of thing?
I think it's because I paid a lot of attention to the branding. Yeah. So my social feeds look like the studio looks like the social feeds, the website looks like the studio. Do you know, it all kind of links in for the whole experience. I'm very considerate of my brand language and tone, the messages that I put across, and all of the kind of values. So it's all consistent on every platform, if that makes sense.
Yeah. And what are your brand values, for those that don't know?
I think my brand values consist of a few things. It's all about doing really good lashes that are long-lasting and natural looking. That's fair, yeah. It's all about uplifting and empowering women through education. And thirdly, it's all about paying it forward. I really love helping people. I love doing what I can when I can. And that's something that will always be part of my brand. Charity, giving, and philanthropy in general. Okay.
Are your lashes what's that word they always use? Is it are they natural? Is it I'm gonna use the wrong word here. Is it gluten free? Is that food?
So that's food. Yeah, all extensions are made from PBT plastic.
Fur? Oh, plastic.
No, they're all synthetic fibers. Yeah.
Okay, they're not
everyone.
Real. Okay.
You cannot. I repeat, cannot. At least if you do, it'll be very expensive. Yeah. And honestly, kind of ugly. Get real mink eyelash extensions.
Oh, they exist.
In some capacity, but what people don't understand is that real mink fur, you can't get them wet. You can't have any heat on them.
But
you
do
can't
they look good
smush.
though?
No.
Oh, so
because
there's no
they're
point
not
then.
all curled consistently, if that makes sense.
Because if they looked good, it would have been a one-shot thing, innit? But
I don't think anyone in the UK even does them. It's quite hard to actually get your hands on it.
Well, you heard it here. If you have any ideas for mink business, just forget it. But yeah, thank you so much for coming on. Lastly, I wanted to ask if you have any piece of advice for someone starting a business like yours, what would it be? Or just in general?
I think is to do market research.
How much market research did you do?
A lot.
A lot.
I think that is the one thing that people fail to do. They get a really good idea, they get excited, they get a logo, and they think they're good. But one of the main reasons why business fail is because there's no market need. If you don't understand the market you're in, if you don't understand your target market, if you don't understand where the trends are going and the history of what industry you're trying to get into, then you will fail.
Damn. And most businesses fail in their first year. So make sure you do your market research, guys. And you should be good, I hope.
I think it will give you a good idea on whether or not your business is going to be viable and scalable in the long term. Because if you don't do the research and you launch, then you'll find,
you're just going to be struggling.
Yeah,
Because most businesses are winging it.
Exactly.
Like, some people have told me, bro, I'm just winging it. They've had some success, but they're literally winging it.
Yeah.
I've winged it as well for certain
I think
things.
everyone has. I think it has to be calculated.
Yeah, calculated winging. So do calculated wingings, please. So yeah, thank you so much for coming on the show. It was a massive pleasure. This is the first episode of season 2. Just look at the camera and just tell the camera everything you've got going on, or anything you want to promote, anything.
So at the moment I am focusing I'm focusing on obviously delivering the Build Your Business workshop. We have some new dates coming out for the rest of the year and an online version coming soon. So just keep your eyes out for that. And of course, if you want eyelash extensions, I'm your girl. Come and visit me in Bromley. Obviously, my Instagram and Twitter and all of that is Vera UK. And you can find me on my personal at Sinmi if you're interested. And yeah.
Awesome. Well, thank you guys for watching and listening. And catch us in episode 2. Obviously, this is the Emmanuel Ajayi podcast, the one and only. Thank you for listening. Please share the podcast with fellow like-minded creatives like yourselves and follow me on Twitter and Instagram at Ajayi360 and have a lovely day.